thank you for joining us on What's Cooking with Teresa today. And you know, it's really hard to believe that we are going into our 9th month of filming. And without you, the viewers, and the sponsors, this would never happen. So please, always watch and always tell the sponsors that you've seen the show and thank them. And today on the show, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to do a simple meal. We're going to do a boneless, breaded, oven-baked chicken breast. We're going to do a broccoli salad, homemade macaroni and cheese, and who don't want any of that? And I've got a few little twists on some things. They have funny names. One's a fat boy, one's pig pudding, and the other one is a sausage pinwheel. So, you know, you've got to wonder what all that is. And I do have some cute little stories on the names of these items. I've obtained the pig pudding, and that's going to surprise you. Fat boys are wonderful. That's something that you can fix for your children to eat with school being out. My children love those. You can, when you see what they are, they're going to think, oh, how simple. I can fix those the night before. They can throw them in the microwave, have them for breakfast, and have them for snack, and you're really going to enjoy it. And girls, you got to take a load of my necklace and my earrings. We want to thank Doug Doggett and the staff down there. They are providing me with some Sorelli jewelry to show off on the show. And believe me, I don't do it justice. You've really got to go down there and check out their new line. It's unbelievable. I love it. I wear it to church. Everybody comments on it. They have so many different colors. So pop in, get you some Sorelli. And we're going to go check out our sponsors right now. But when you come back, we're going to start on the chicken and the broccoli salad. Get this thing popping and going. And you're going to be hungry when the show's over, and you're going to go and fix some of this stuff. So you come back and join us. Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor of What's Cooking with Teresa. And if you're looking for a community bank with low interest rates and a friendly staff, you need to call them. They have 6 locations. They're downtown, Holly Pine, Dodge City, and then they have Arley, Hayden, and Prosperville that's out of Coleman County. Call Debbie for those low interest rates. Number's 256-735-2138. Doug Doggett and his family, they have been located in Coleman, and Coleman's one of Coleman's finest jewelry stores since 1981. And on every show, you really need to look at what I'm wearing, because I'm trying to wear some of their products and just show them off, really. And they are located at 215 Compass Way. That's beside Ryan Steakhouse. They do appraisals, in-store repairs, engraving, whatever your need is. Give them a call, 734-7883. And Coleman Primary Care, we want to thank them also for being one of our sponsors. They're your downtown family practice. If you have a medical need, they're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. They are accepting new patients. They're located on Clark Street, and that is one block south of the old hospital. Give them a call, 256-734-3202. And, of course, this is tornado season, unfortunately, so if you're in need of insurance, give Tanya Williams a call at Farmers Insurance. Or if you're looking for the perfect real estate property, Tanya is also Axis Realty. And those offices are located in Good Hope on the left before Clayton Homes. She has commercial, farm, life, auto, homeowners, mobile homes. As far as insurance goes, as far as realty, she's got Smith Lake property, farms, homes in the city and the county. So give Tanya a call, 256-736-2636.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Coleman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Welcome back to What's Cooking. Are y'all ready to get cooking? What we're going to start with today, we're going to do a broccoli salad. And we're compacting a whole lot into the show, so I have already pre-measured, pre-chopped, so we can just run right along and get it all done. What I've got, I'm going to start with, on the broccoli salad, I've got about 4 crowns or 4 heads of broccoli. A couple were large, a couple were medium, so that gives you just an idea of what to start with. And I have chopped it rather small, so all of the elements in it will be about the same size. I'm going to put in 1½ cup of cheese, shredded cheddar cheese. I've got 1 pound of bacon that I've got, and I've already pre-cooked, drained, and diced, or crumbled the bacon, I guess. That's what you do to bacon. But we do dice the onions. What I've got on the onions, I've got a red onion. And I use a medium onion. And if you're uncertain as to, okay, what's the difference between small, medium, and large onion? A small, to me, is about the size of a golf ball. Medium, about the size of a tennis ball. And large, anywhere from a baseball up to a softball. So that just lets me know. And if you have something that calls for a medium onion and you have a large, use half. That's what I did on this count. I have used half of a diced red onion. We have 1 cup of raisins. If you want to use the golden raisins, you can. It's no big deal. Any of the raisins will be fine. And this is a little twist on my broccoli salad. I just use the party salted peanuts. I give them a little, I just crunch them just a little. You don't want to mince them very much, but I give them a quick chop to break them up a little. And you just put all of that in a bowl. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to mix my mayonnaise and sugar. That's going to bind it together and be our dressing. I've got a cup of mayonnaise, and the recipe actually called for a cup of mayonnaise and 2 or 3 heads of broccoli, but I knew everybody at the TV station were all going to eat, so I just upped the recipe a little. So I'm going to start with this. If I need to add more mayonnaise, I will, but you can't take it out once it's in there. To this, I'm going to add almost a half a cup of sugar. That's what it calls for. And I'm going to give that a taste once I get it stirred, because you don't want it to be too sweet and just overwhelm the broccoli flavor. All right, give this a quick stir. We're going to taste it. So, a little bit more sugar. I'm reserving a little sugar in case I have to use the rest of that mayonnaise. Okay. And you just add this to it and just give it a good stir. Now, this is one salad that you really don't need to make in advance. When I do need to make it in advance, I do prep and chop all of my vegetables. I get my bacon cooked and crumbled, my peanuts, and you can actually put all of that in individual Ziploc bags, put it in the fridge, and that will hold until the next day. But you really don't need to process this salad until, not much more than an hour or 2. And I do see that I am going to need the rest of the mayonnaise. This is what happens when you don't leave a recipe alone, as my husband says. I add to it, or I take away, and I play with it. But that's the fun of cooking. Cooking is, to me it's a hobby and a habit. And I like to experiment. So sometimes when I cook, no 2 things are the same, which is fine. So now we're going to give this a stir. And I think this is going to be the ratio that we're going to need. So to the 4 crowns of the broccoli, I did wind up using 1.5 cups of the mayonnaise and 1/2 cup of the sugar. Now for my taste, I do like a little more dressing in my salad, but I love mayonnaise, and not a lot of people does. So I did cut back a little. You can use more if you like, but you mainly want to bind this salad together, but you don't want the heaviness of the mayonnaise to weight it down. So I don't know if you can see the look of all the colors in this salad. This is wonderful. If you fix it about an hour before, put it in the fridge, cover it, put it in the fridge, serve it good and cold. So what I'm going to do now, we've got this ready, and we're just going to set it aside, and we're going to start on the chicken because we do have to get that chicken in the oven to get it going, so we'll have it by the end of the show. So I'm going to do a quick little maneuver of some of the items. We're going to change our table out here, get ready to do some chicken. And this chicken, once you get everything prepped, it's not that bad. It's not difficult. Once I get everything in place, I'll show you what we're going to do. I actually served this chicken to the National Guard men on, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. They really, really enjoyed it. And it's so easy. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spray my pan first. And I think I'm running all over the place, but that's okay. Any way you want to put some lubricant on your pan will be fine. You can use a spray, you can use butter, you can use oil, shortening, anything. Just so you just don't want that chicken to stick. And I've got my tongs. When I'm using raw chicken, I always try to use the tongs. But just for precaution, since I am around other foods, like the broccoli salad, I'm going to put my trusted gloves on. That way, if I do need to handle the chicken, I can take my gloves off and progress on without having to stop. So, I've got my 2 trusted pie plates. To these, I've got, that's my tasting fork. Let's move him out of the way. All right, I've got 3 eggs. I'm just going to beat those lightly. And I like to beat my eggs before I put them in the pie pan because you can just beat the devil out of them. And there you have to be gentle. Okay. Got our 3 eggs. Over to the side. I've got a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. You can actually take this and do the dredge of the buttermilk, then the egg, or the egg, then the buttermilk, and then your dry product. I put it together. It's a time saver. If you're in a hurry and you want to do this when you get home in the evening, you can actually go ahead and have your eggs popped, your buttermilk, all in the same container, and you can also mix your bread and your dry ingredients the night before. Really makes it quick. So we've got our buttermilk and our eggs. Now to this, I have got 3 to 3.5 cups of breadcrumbs. When I'm health conscious, or if I know that someone is watching their carbs, I will do a wheat bread on this. To this, I'm adding a teaspoon of garlic. No, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. 1 teaspoon would make it too bad. This is a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And I've got about a 1/2 cup of flour. And to the flour, I've already added about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. So we're just going to give this a stir to incorporate the dry. Okay. You can also actually put this in a Ziploc bag, give it a shake when you store it in the fridge the night before, and then just pull it out, put it in a pan, and you're ready to go. Okay, now we're going to line up everything. I like to get everything in a row. Got my pan there. I'm going to put a pinch of salt in this, just for a little added flavor. Okay, now I work my assembly line, and I'm shuffling a lot here, but bear with me. What I want to do is I want to go chicken, wet, dry pan. So with our trusted tongs, and this chicken, I don't know if you can tell it or not, this is cubed chicken breast. It makes it unbelievably tender. Okay, you can get this at the grocery store. If they don't have any that's already cubed, ask the butcher, ask the people in the meat department if they can cube some chicken breast for you. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do that for you. And what that does, it actually increases the size, the diameter of the chicken. It tenderizes it, makes it cook faster, therefore making the chicken a little more tender. So you just want to coat it, okay, flip it, coat both sides, shake off any extra breadcrumbs that may be clumped to the side because you don't want it just to be overly breaded. Okay? This is the time-consuming part, but you know it's well worth it. If you can prep this stuff the night before and come in, throw it together, put it in the oven, it only takes about 20 minutes to bake. And I like to bake it off in about a 375 to a 400-degree oven because what that's going to do, that's going to give your chicken a crusty texture to it. Also, it'll brown it just a little. And if you notice, when the chicken breasts are cubed, sometimes they will get a little disfigured because when you cube them, when it runs through that process, it might tear the chicken a little, but that's okay. Once it's breaded and cooked, you can form it back on your pan, and presentation will still be fine. You can actually do chicken strips like this. If you used a cubed chicken, you can strip the cubed breast up and batter those and fry those for homemade chicken tenders. Especially if you use the meaty part of the breast, because sometimes I've actually wanted some quick chicken fingers before. Rather than buying the tenders, which is the little strip inside the breast, I have just bought regular boneless chicken breast. They tend to be a little tough when you strip them up yourself, but if you'll ask for the cubed chicken, it's no problem. I think we're winding down to almost the bottom of the bowl here. This is one thing when you're dealing with chicken. It's not something that you really need to stop and go start something else because you don't want to have to drag the mess back out. You want to keep on till we get it done. And we're almost there. Almost there. What I do with this also, I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top of this. So while it is baking, it will get and help that crusty form a little. Now see, some of that came off. So just get a little on it and pat it into it. Okay? One more. Then we're going to drizzle with olive oil and throw her in the oven. And you're going to really, this is a chicken that if you're having a party and you want a quick fix that anybody can eat, go for it. Got my olive oil. Give her a little drizzle. Of course, olive oil is good for you. You can actually even put the olive oil under your pan instead of the pan spray if you're trying to stay away from any chemicals or anything. Okay, we've got our chicken drizzled, we've got it battered, ready to go in the oven, we've got our broccoli salad done, and we're going to take a break, go check out our sponsors, pay attention to what the sponsors are. Please visit our sponsors, let them know that you're watching the show, and when we come back, we're going to hit that homemade macaroni and cheese and a strawberry pie. We want to thank Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor of What's Cooking with Teresa. And Traditions Bank, they have 6 locations to serve you. It's downtown in Coleman, Holly Pond, Dodge City, and then they have Arley, Hayden, and Princeville that's outside the city. And they have low interest rates now. They have a friendly staff. We have been banking with Traditions Bank for years and years. They are your local community bank, full of friendly service, wonderful staff. So if you're looking for low interest rates and someone that can just help you in any way, call Debbie. Her number is 256-735-2138. Of course, summer's here, and it's time for that new do. So you need to call Chastity Jordan. She is a master cosmetologist at J. Drake Salon. She's been doing hair for over 16 years. She can do cuts to fit your face, customize that collar, and just give you an all-new look. She does hair for the entire family. So give her a call and set an appointment up. The number is 256-734-2042. And we want to thank Dr. Sherry Swader, MD, and Diana Wilhite, CRMP. They're CPC Neurology. They do diagnosis and treatments of the nervous system disorders, including the brain, the spinal cord, nerves and muscles. They do EEGs, nerve conduction studies, and lumbar puncture. They are located in Professional Building 3 at CRMC, or beside CRMC, actually. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, from 8 to 4. Friday, the hours are from 8 to 10. So you need to give them a call if you have a medical issue. Number is 256-736-1615. And there again, with summer being here, full of fresh produce. So Glover's Produce, located on West Main Avenue. They're your location. If you're looking for some good fresh summer vegetables or fruits, you need to go by, stop in, see what they have in stock. Their hours are wonderful, 7:30 to 6, Monday through Saturday, so there's no excuse not to stop by. They've been in business for over 40 years, them and their family. And Mike and Kim, the owners, are wonderful. I have bought stuff from them for years with my catering business and never been dissatisfied. Give them a call or stop by. Their number is 256-739-8144. And please, when you visit any of our sponsors, please thank them and mention the show so they'll know that their ads are being heard and that we all appreciate them. So stop by and tell them thank you.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Cullman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Glad you're back with us. Now we're going to do a homemade macaroni and cheese. And if you can tell, I'm taking some of the foods that we're doing that's kid-friendly. You know, we did the chicken. Kids love chicken. Maybe not too wild about broccoli, but putting the cheese and bacon in it, you might get them to taste it. Now we're going to do homemade macaroni and cheese, and what kid does not love homemade or macaroni and cheese. You can do this. You can fix it the night before. If the children are at home and out of school, they can always heat it up and eat on it. Eat that and the chicken. So what we're going to start with, I have already pre-cooked, pre-boiled my pasta. I've got the macaroni pasta. I started out with a pound of pasta, and it'll give the poundage on the package, and it'll make it easy. So I've cooked it, and I usually put about a tablespoon or two of olive oil in my water, and what this does, it just keeps my pasta from sticking. I don't know if you can tell, but even after draining the water off, the pasta's not sticking. It's really loose. So, okay, to this, we're just going to do a dump thing like we always do. Of course, I try to make things easy. I'm going to add 3 eggs, and I'm going to whisk these eggs over my pasta because that way if some splashes out, it's going to go right in the pasta where it's going anyway. So, drizzle that. Okay. To this, we are going to add about a half a cup of melted butter or margarine. Okay. To this, I've got half a teaspoon of garlic. And I use garlic powder rather than garlic salt. It just gives me a little more control of the sodium and the salt that I have in my dishes. So, and I have got 2 cups of a processed easy melt cheese. So I grated this up in my food processor. That's why it looks a little chunky rather than shredded. And now we're going to do 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Okay. Now, here comes the good part. I have 3 cups of milk. This is going to give the liquid. And when you use cheddar cheese, you really need to use the margarine and butter and the milk, because if you don't, the cheese is not going to melt evenly. I have actually used all cheddar cheese because my husband is allergic to MSGs, and some of your processed cheeses have MSGs in it. So just keep in mind, though, if you do all cheddar, you must use the butter and you've got to use the milk. And usually I stir it a couple of times in between the baking process just to keep that cheese distributed. Okay, now we're going to add a little salt, and I do not have my spoon. I'm going to put about 1 teaspoon and a half of salt. Okay, I'm going to give this a stir. And if your pasta looks a little dry while you're stirring it, you can add a little more milk. You can even add a little water if you want to. It's not going to hurt it. You know, it's the liquid that's going to keep it from being dry. Now, you are going to definitely have to cook this, bake it off in the oven because you do have the raw eggs in there. Once you give it a stir, if you'll notice, I've got my cheese, some extra cheese over on the side. All this cheese is just going to cook down into it, making it ooey gooey, and then we're going to top it with the cheese before we put it in the oven. So I've got my spray. See if I can clean a mess up here so I can continue working. Got my deep dish pan. You can do this in a shallow 9 by 13 pan. I just like the looks of my pottery dishes. So, okay, I'm going to pour this in and hope that it fits. Yeah. How about that? You thought I planned that. Okay. Spread it out. Now we're going to top this with our cheese. I have already, what you need to do is you need to preheat your oven. I don't bake my mac on a high temp because you don't want the cheese to, I like my cheese browned but not burned. So I usually start the oven off on 300. I bake it for about 15 minutes on 300. I check it. If the cheese starts to get a little too brown, because this dish really needs to cook 20 to 25, 30 minutes in order for the eggs to get done. So check it in about 15 minutes. If your cheese is starting to brown, spray it lightly on the top with some cooking spray. Then put aluminum foil on it. If you don't spray it, when you take that aluminum foil off, that cheese is going to stick to it. Have you ever done that? So if you'll spray your melted cheese with pan spray, then put your aluminum foil on it, put it back in the oven, reduce it. If you had it on 325, reduce it to 3, and just keep baking it for another 10 or 15 minutes. If it seems jiggly, it'll still set up. So this is our mac. I'm going to set this aside because we're going to pop it in the oven in a minute. We're going to get ready to make a strawberry pie. And what children does not like strawberry pie? Or adult, for that matter. Okay. I'm going to get this cleaned up. Okay. On the strawberry pie, I don't know if you remember Shoney's and the strawberry pie that Shoney's used to have, but I used to love their strawberry pie with the glaze on it. And that's similar to what we're going to do today. You're going to take your a small pot. To this, you're going to add a cup of sugar. You're going to add 4 tablespoons of strawberry gelatin. Okay. Then, to this, you're going to add 3.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. That's going to be your thickener. And when you think of cornstarch, you're going to think, oh, it's going to be a hazy looking color. But believe it or not, when you use cornstarch in any type of fruit puree or a juice or whatever, to thicken it up and tighten it up, it does actually go clear. And I know that sounds silly, but it really does go clear. All right, 1 cup of water. And I like to add a few drops of red food coloring. And what this is going to do is just give it that bright red. Now, I'm going to give it a stir, just dissolve everything. And due to the fact of television, what this needs to do, you need to bring it to a boil and let it boil for probably a couple of minutes to 3 minutes. You'll start seeing, it'll start foaming, and then you'll see it starting to thicken. When it gets to the thickening stage and still boiling somewhat, take it off the eye, give it a stir, and then pour it in a bowl. And it's got to chill down, because if you pour this over your strawberries, it's going to wilt them like crazy and make a mush. So just, you're going to boil this, cool it down, and then it's going to be ready for your strawberry topping. So I'm going to set this aside, because what I've already got one that I have done, and if you'll see how thick and pretty and red that is. To this, I've already washed, and you want to pat your strawberries dry, and because this way the glaze will adhere to the strawberries. I've just given them a quick slice, and we're going to pour this into the strawberry glaze. Okay, get in there, strawberry. And I'm going to do away with my whisk here. I'm going to get a spatula. I'm just going to coat those strawberries. Now, with the gelatin in this, when you put this pie into your fridge to set, and it does need to set and firm overnight if you've got the time, because it's just going to combine it and make it tight. When you slice it, it's not going to run everywhere. I've already pre-baked a pie shell. You can make your own, or you can buy a pre-made pie shell. I put quite a few slits in mine before I baked it, simply because I did not want to have puffiness in the bottom and take up the space and lose my space for the strawberries. Okay. I'm just going to pour that in. I want to get as much of this glaze as possible. Now, spread them around. What you're going to do is you're going to put this in the fridge. You're going to let it chill and set up. Now, this pie can be made a day in advance, but if you do make it in advance and put it in the fridge, you need to cover it with some saran wrap, because if you don't, the aroma and the odor of the strawberries, believe it or not, that will seep into everything in your fridge if it's not covered. So you need to cover the strawberries, keep that inside so the smell won't get it all in your fridge. And once it's set, what we're going to do is I'm not going to do it to this one because it's not set enough. I'm going to top it with some whipped topping. We're going to garnish it with strawberries, and it'll be ready to eat. So on this segment, we're going to call it a halt, because I really need to let this set up before we top it. And because the next segment is going to be a little bit longer, we're going to do the fun stuff, the fat boys I told you about, the what did I say? The pig pudding. You're not going to believe what that is. So what I want you to do is come back and join us. We're going to do the fat boys, the pig pudding, and the sausage pinwheels. And then the last segment, we get to eat. So come back and join us. We want to thank Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor of What's Cooking with Teresa. And if you're looking for a community bank with low interest rates and a friendly staff, you need to call them. They have 6 locations. They're downtown, Holly Pine, Dodge City, and then they have Arley, Hayden, and Prosperville that's out of Coleman County. Call Debbie for those low interest rates. Number's 256-735-2138. Doug Doggett and his family, they have been located in Coleman, and Coleman's one of Coleman's finest jewelry stores since 1981. And on every show, you really need to look at what I'm wearing, because I'm trying to wear some of their products and just show them off, really. And they are located at 215 Compass Way. That's beside Ryan Steakhouse. They do appraisals, in-store repairs, engraving, whatever your need is. Give them a call, 734-7883. And Coleman Primary Care, we want to thank them also for being one of our sponsors. They're your downtown family practice. If you have a medical need, they're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. They are accepting new patients. They're located on Clark Street, and that is one block south of the old hospital. Give them a call, 256-734-3202. And of course, this is tornado season, unfortunately, so if you're in need of insurance, give Tanya Williams a call at Farmers Insurance. Or if you're looking for the perfect real estate property, Tanya is also Axis Realty. And those offices are located in Good Hope on the left before Clayton Homes. She has commercial, farm, life, auto, homeowners, mobile homes, as far as insurance goes. As far as realty, she's got Smith Lake property, farms, homes in the city and the county. So give Tanya a call, 256-736-2636.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Coleman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Are you ready to find out what fat boys are? Okay, now we're going to know. What this is, a little history on the fat boys. Our sons played on a football team, and one of the football boys' moms would bring fat boys for the kids to eat, the boys to eat. And mine would come home and say, Mom, you got to learn how to make fat boys. Well, believe it or not, all it is, it's crescent rolls, cooked sausage, and cream cheese. And the kids go crazy over it. This is something good, moms, you can make at night, bake it, the kids can warm it up the next day. If you're going to work, they're at home, working like they're supposed to be. All right, what we're going to start with, I've got my bowl. I have doubled the recipe. The original recipe is simple. It's 1 pound of sausage cooked, 1 8-ounce stick of cream cheese, and 1 crescent roll. But I've doubled it because not only are we going to do a batch of the fat boys, we're going to do the sausage pinwheels. So to make it simple, I just doubled the batch. So in goes the 2 pounds of sausage cooked. Then we're going to do 2 cream cheese, sticks of cream cheese. That's the only 2 ingredients. How about that? And of course, I'm going to use my God-given tools. And I'm going to use the gloves. All you do, you have to use your hands on this. There is no way you're going to get this cream cheese mixture mixed with this sausage evenly and not break your sausage up. You can use a food processor or the mixer or whatever, but it's going to break your sausage way too much. Just squeeze this cream cheese into the sausage. Okay. Pull from the bottom, squeeze it in. You just want to get it mixed thoroughly because you want to bite the cream cheese and the sausage with every bite. And you could actually even mix this up, roll your crescent rolls out, put them in the pan and cover it with some plastic wrap and bake it off the next day. I've done that before. They taste better when they're baked fresh. If time permits, you can bake them off fresh. If it don't, bake them the night before and heat them up. Okay, now, taking my gloves off, we've got this mixed. Got 2 spoons. I may use the small spoon on one. What I'm going to do is the crescent rolls, I'm going to pop these open. And I'm going to give it a whack on a wooden edge. I didn't want to do that in front of the camera, just in case something happened and fell off. Okay, so let me I've got some food particles on my hand. Okay, now what I'm going to do on the fat boys is you pull your crescent rolls apart, and this is not a perfect food item. If your crescent rolls mess up somewhat, it's no big deal. Because you know what? Usually I'm in a hurry when I'm cooking, and nothing turns out perfect anyway. So you're just going to pull these apart. And now you can serve fat boys to your family. You can make up another name if you want to. Because actually, the lady that brought these, her sons made that name up. They were big old boys, big old football players. Not fat, they were just big old football players. And so it was their food item, so I guess they named it Fat Boys. And this is not a perfect thing. This is actually something good that you can do with your children, because once the sausage is cooked, they can actually assemble these themselves. Our sons, I'll have the stuff in the fridge, and they'll come in and make Fat Boys, either for breakfast or at night for a snack. What you want to do is you want to get a tablespoon of the mixture, put it on the large end of your crescent roll, take it, fold the small end up. Like I said, These are not the type of hors d'oeuvre that you want to serve at a party to impress anybody, because they're not actually that pretty, but they're just good to eat. So I'm going to take my pan, spray it with some pan spray, because if you don't, they might stick a little. Get settled here. And I put the fold side down. See, they're not that pretty and elegant, but doggone, they're good. We're going to fill these real quick. Just put in the center, fold, roll. You can pull it, and just the main thing you want to do is just tuck it all in. Turn it over, and you've got the smooth side up. This one's going to be tricky because he didn't come out of the wrap very good. We're going to make a baby one. You can always fix your mess ups. I'm actually going to pull a little off there and put it right here on the side. Pull it up. If I can get this one to do it, I believe I can get any of them to do it. Looky there. Ah! A baby fat boy. Okay, rocking on. And you can even actually add different items to this mixture. If you want to put some herbs in it, you can put some rosemary in it. My son loves to cook with rosemary. So, and actually, he took this same filler recipe and added some rosemary to it, and he stuffs mushrooms. And we'll stuff the mushrooms at the house with it. I'll fix those. He came up with a recipe, but he doesn't have time to cook anymore, so I guess I do. Okay. I'm really glad these are kind of giving me a difficult times. Well, they're not really difficult, but I'm just showing you that it doesn't have to be perfect, because once they're cooked, they're going to just come out a golden brown, and it's not going to matter. It's just a little time consuming. It's a good thing about doing this at night, because the next morning they're ready to pop in the oven and bake, or just if you bake them at night, they're ready to go in the microwave. Okay, we're almost done with these. And this is what Fat Boys is all about. And I really hope the lady that came up with this, I hope somebody tells her that they've seen this on the show. It'll be funny. And it's just so simple. Okay. Got it ready. All right. Now, I'm going to stick this over to the side. We're going to do basically the same concept, doing our sausage pinwheels. And I'm going to spray my pan. Same ingredients, just a little twist on it. Now, my crescent rolls have been sitting out for just a few minutes. If you want to pop these and keep them in the fridge while all this is being prepared and then take your rolls out, they'll do much better. I didn't have the luxury of doing that, so I'm just kind of fighting with them. They roll out much better. Now this one I've got to be a little more gentle with, because you don't want it to fall apart. What you do is you want to start with a seam side that'll lay on the edge of your cutting board. Gently pull it. And if it starts to stick, or if it comes apart, no big deal. There again, this is something that you can fix easily. I just roll with one hand and place it with the other. Okay? So you want to pinch the creases together. Now, once it gets out on the cutting board or your cabinet, it's really hard to move it. So where it lies, it pretty much stays. You just have to fill in the gaps like I'm doing here. And like this one is real thick. All I'm going to do is just push it up a little, where I've got some thin spot right there. Now, we're going to do this like a jelly roll. And I think all of my spaces have been filled. Okay. I'm going to take this. You've really got to be careful or you'll tear your crescent rolls. Okay. I'm going to start with this, and we'll leave a little in the bowl, because if I need to get some out, then I can. I'm going to use the back of my spoon to press. Just work, go from one to the end. Now, I don't know if you can tell that my crescent rolls are moving slightly, but that's okay, just so they're not tearing. and just kind of give it a push. You can't, it's hard to spread because you're going to tear your crescent rolls. You have to press it and move it as you go. Okay. I'm not going all the way to the edge just yet. I'm going to see how much I've got. Okay. I'm going to get a little more because I want to fill this. If you see that your crescent rolls are going to start tearing a little, stop pressing because you always grab more and just fill in. All right. Now, we're going to roll this up like a jelly roll. So that's why I left a little at the edge because I wanted just to cup that over and get it started. Okay. Just gently roll up. If it happens to stick to your cutting board, use your hand and lift it and press it as you go. Because I have done them and they've actually torn on me. See, there's a little hole. No big deal. You can fix it as you go. Okay? And if it seems like there's not enough on that end, you can press it from the center and some of the gooey will go to the edge. Just keep rolling. See, mine tore there. But that's okay. It'll fix. It's kind of good showing the imperfections on the show because if you're just learning to cook and something messes up on you, it might discourage you. And that's not really what cooking's all about. Because look, see, even though it tore, the whole seam just came apart right there. You press it together, just keep rolling it, and with a crescent roll, you'll form right back. See, we've got it all in one spot right now. What I would do, if time permitted, I would wrap this in saran wrap and put it in the fridge for about 2 or 3 hours, or pop it in the freezer for about 20 minutes just to firm this so it'll cut evenly. I don't have that luxury because I need to get these in the oven so we can taste them. I usually cut the edge off, and it's not going to be a pretty one, so you know, turn it, there's the ugly part, the end. Turn it sausage side up and see how it's going to smush. But believe it or not, when these cook, they're not going to look that bad. And if you refrigerate these beforehand, it eliminates this squishing. Kind of like when you do cinnamon rolls. Once you roll your cinnamon rolls up, if you'll put those in the fridge and chill them, at least overnight if you could, then they turn out so much better. Now you see these are oblong. Once I get them in the pan, if you'll take your fingers, make them round, and you can't actually see the crescent in the inside in the middle swirled up, but it's there. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. You can make these as thin or as thick as you want. I've got quite a bit of filling in this, so I'm going to make them a little thicker just so it'll make it easier to handle. Let me move this over. And these are just ooey gooey good. If you want to put some color in these, you can saute some bell peppers and some onions, some green peppers, some red peppers, and some onions. Saute that, put it in your sausage mixture and your cream cheese mixture. Especially around the holidays, it just pops it out. It gives it so much more color and more flavor, actually, too. A lot of people eat with their eyes, though. So if they see the color popping out at them, they're going to go, wow. Okay, I'm going to take the ugly one out because I want to cook all the big ones. Let's see if we can stagger this because I really would do that. Okay, maybe this little one, and we'll do one more little one. Okay, so this is the sausage pinwheels. What you're going to do is you're going to bake these off in the oven the same amount of time as you're going to do your fat boys. I set my oven on 350, 375, and put them in there check them after about 7 minutes, 8 minutes, when they start to get golden brown, because all of your product is cooked. You just want to get the crescent rolls golden brown, a little crispy. So this is done. Now we're going to start on the pig pudding. And I know, what's a pig pudding? But I'm going to show you. This is another super, super unbelievably easy recipe. I had a gentleman one day to ask me if I'd ever heard of pig pudding. And of course, no. I said, what's pig pudding? He said, well, He was in South Alabama a couple of years ago, and he was at a restaurant, and the waitress said, "Sir, would you like to try our pig pudding?" He said, "I don't think so." She said, "You've got to." He said, "I don't think so." He said, "You've got to tell me what's in it." And she said, "I'll bring it out. You've got to try it, then I'll tell you." So he did. He loved it. And it's 2 ingredients. And the ingredients you can make from scratch, or you can buy it frozen. In this case, I bought it frozen because I wanted to show you how simple it is. And I always keep this in my freezer, because if I were to have company to come in, or if I know they're coming a little in advance, all this is 1 pecan pie and a 6 or 8 ounce container of whipped topping. That's all it is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my gloves. Whew. Little drama in the background. I hate to hear that. Okay. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put half of my whipped topping in the bottom of the pan to coat it. And then this is the fun part. This is where the gloves come in. Is you just dump that pie in there. That's it. And I guess that's one reason I use a frozen pecan pie, because if I make a pecan pie from scratch, I'm thinking I am not going to dump that pecan pie in a bowl after the work I've put into it. So, but it's crazy. You put it in there, put the rest of the whipped topping in. Okay. There again. Let me get my mess. And you use the crust and everything. You just start breaking the pecan pie up. You don't want to give it a big stir, because you don't want to break that whipped topping down. This is all there is to it. And when I first heard it, I thought, no, okay, but thanks anyway. He said, no, you really have to try it. Believe it or not, for it to be so simple, it's really, really good. So, and all you do, you just give it a stir. Henceforth the name Pig Pudding. I really think it was a barbecue restaurant. That's why they called it Pig Pudding. Now what I'm going to do is, when we come back and we have this bowl panned up into a bowl, I like to take just a caramel topping. Once I get it in my serving bowl, drizzle the caramel topping over it, and maybe chop up some toasted pecans. And if you want to do the sugar toasted pecans, that would be great. Put that over the topping. And you can either put it in little pudding bowls, or you can put it in a big serving bowl. Now, if I have a large group coming over, I'll probably use a couple of pies and then 2 to 3 containers of the Cool Whip, because you can actually put a dollop of Cool Whip or whipped topping on the top for color. But that's all there is to it. Pig pudding, go figure. But this is another quick thing. If you have children that like to get in the kitchen and cook, and you're going like, okay, I'm at work, you're at home, so no, don't turn the stove on. You can have this in the fridge or the freezer. All they've got to do is pull it out, mix it up, and eat. So what more could you ask for? So we've got our Fat Boys ready to go in the oven, our sausage pinwheels ready to go in the oven, and we've got our pig pudding done. So what I'm going to do is ask you to come back. We might have a guest to come and test some of the food. I think his mouth has been watering and drooling the whole time. So come back. We're going to display everything we've done. We'll recap what we've done and go over it and see what it tastes like. Thank you for joining us, and come right back. We want to thank Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor of What's Cooking with Teresa. And Traditions Bank, they have 6 locations to serve you. It's downtown in Coleman, Holly Pond, Dodge City, and then they have Arley, Hayden, and Princeville that's outside the city. And they have low interest rates now. They have a friendly staff. We have been banking with Traditions Bank for years and years. They are your local community bank, full of friendly service, wonderful staff. So if you're looking for low interest rates and someone that can just help you in any way, call Debbie. Her number is 256-735-2138. Of course, summer's here, and it's time for that new do. So you need to call Chastity Jordan. She is a master cosmetologist at J. Drake Salon. She's been doing hair for over 16 years. She can do cuts to fit your face, customize that collar, and just give you an all-new look. She does hair for the entire family. So give her a call and set an appointment up. The number is 256-734-2042. And we want to thank Dr. Sherry Swader, MD, and Diana Wilhite, CRMP. They're CPC Neurology. They do diagnosis and treatments of the nervous system disorders, including the brain, the spinal cord, nerves and muscles. They do EEGs, nerve conduction studies, and lumbar puncture. They are located in Professional Building 3 at CRMC, or beside CRMC actually. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, from 8 to 4. Friday, the hours are from 8 to 10. So you need to give them a call if you have a medical issue. Number is 256-736-1615. And there again, with summer being here, full of fresh produce. So Glover's Produce, located on West Main Avenue. They're your location. If you're looking for some good fresh summer vegetables or fruits, you need to go by, stop in, see what they have in stock. Their hours are wonderful, 7:30 to 6, Monday through Saturday. So there's no excuse not to stop by. They've been in business for over 40 years, them and their family. And Mike and Kim, the owners, are wonderful. I have bought stuff from them for years with my catering business and never been dissatisfied. Give them a call or stop by. Their number is 256-739-8144. And please, when you visit any of our sponsors, please thank them and mention the show so they'll know that their ads are being heard and that we all appreciate them. So stop by and tell them thank you.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Cullman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Thank you for coming back with us and joining us and see what we have done. And Ted, he's been sitting over there watching and drooling and waiting. Yeah. So he just had to jump over here and try it. I want to recap before we taste it. I've got the breaded chicken breast that we did here. Those are baked off. This is the sausage pinwheels and then the fat boys. Here's our broccoli salad, our homemade macaroni and cheese, our pig pudding in the bowl, and our strawberry pie. So, Ted, what do you want to start with, sweetheart? I've got you a plate.
Oh, you are so nice.
All right. What do you think?
Why don't we just
try one of those?
Right here.
You want some mac and cheese?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Well, of course. Give you some of that. Try that. You want some broccoli salad, or are you a broccoli person?
Yes, I am.
Some people are not, you know.
Eat a lot of it.
So, you know, people eat with their eyes. We have the yellow, the starch, the green, and try some of that.
You wouldn't believe it that I eat with my eyes looking at me.
I'm not going there.
Tasty.
Tasty?
Delicious.
All right. Well, I'm glad you came on and tried it. See, he got to jump ahead of all of us. So, well, okay. Thank y'all for joining us. And you really need to try these recipes. A lot of these you can go ahead and pre-make for your children. Just basic chicken, mac and cheese, broccoli. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor. We want to thank Channel 2 for allowing us to do this. And you really need to watch the show next month, all month long. And if you have any suggestions as to what you would like for us to see on the show and do on the show, contact us. It's www.whatscookingwithteresa.com, or you can email me. It's customcatering at customcatering2012@yahoo.com. Send me any emails, any suggestions, or anything. And I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ted, for coming and doing a taste test on us. And just give us some feedback. We want to thank y'all very much, and y'all have a very blessed day.